Took my family away from my Carolina home. Had dreams about the West and started to roam. 6 long months on a dust-covered trail. They say heaven's at the end, but so far it's been hell. And there's fire on the mountain, lightning in the air, gold in them hills, and it's waiting for me there. We were digging and shifting from 5 to 5, selling everything we found just to stay alive. Gold flowed free like the whiskey in the bars. Sinning was the big thing, Lord, and Satan was a star. And there's fire on the mountain, lightning in the air, gold in them hills, and it's waiting for me there. And blood lined the streets. Men were shot down for the sake of having fun, or just to hear the noise of their 44 guns. And there's fire on the mountain, lightning in the air, gold in them hills, and it's waiting for me there. Now my widow, she weeps by my grave. Tears flow free for her man couldn't save. Shot down in cold blood by a gun that carried fame, all for the useless and no good, worthless claim. And there's fire on the mountain, lightning in the air, gold in them hills, and it's waiting for me there. And there's fire on the mountain, lightning in the air, gold in them hills, and it's waiting for me there.
Yes, you do. Hey, YouTubers and friends, how are all of you doing tonight? Absolutely fabulous, I hope. Fabulous, fabulous. Well, tonight I have my very good Havana cigar gal. I love my Liz. Joining me tonight as my guest co host, along with our special guest, uh, Butch Holcombe of American Digger magazine. And if you stick around, you might be able to win a subscription or a renewal. Um, so, yeah, he's been kind enough to offer it up for us tonight. So, enough of this. Let's get to the show. Be right back.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of Tuesday Night Hangout Live. It's Tuesday night, Hangout Live. It's Tuesday night, Hangout Live. It's Tuesday night, Hangout Live. With your host, Ed Marvin. Tuesday Night Hangout Live is a Flash in Your Pan production.
Need to make sure I unmute everything. Welcome, welcome, welcome to Tuesday Night Hangout Live, everybody. Guest co-host Liz, the Digging Canuck, and Butch Holcombe of American Digger magazine. I want to thank you all for joining us tonight. Liz was the first in the chat. With, it's going to be a great show, and that it is. Followed
Yes.
by Treasure Guy. Hello. Rob, Wide Gold, good to see you, my friend. Along with, you were here quite early, Rob. Look at all that. David Alvanzati, good to see you, my friend. Bill Marsh, Ohio Relic Hunter. Along with Finding Alabama. How you doing, brother? Mr. Lodak, the world's greatest moderator. Great to see you. Hey, 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 if it isn't Jack Tucker of Gold Fever Adventures and Treasure Hunting in Arizona. Moon over Miami. Good to see you, buddy. And all of you. Johnny Small Pepper, good to see you. Was good seeing you in Scully's live stream too. I haven't been inside Scully's House of Thrillers, I believe it is, live stream in a long time. David Villa. Hola, bien amigo. We have a birthday girl in the house. Hi, Deej. Happy birthday to you. Sorry I missed your live stream tonight, sis. Lawrence L., long time no sees. Great to see you, my friend. Jeremy, I hope all's well. Terry Curry, good to see you. Kyle King Prospecting, how you doing, my motherlode friend? Oh, actually, you're on the coastal range, I believe. Hot Mess Fishing's in the house. Brad Welsh, my Aussie mate. Joel Drum Detect, good to see all of you, each and every one of you. If I missed any of you, it was totally not on purpose. But hey, I'm going to get to my guests. I've said hi to you guys enough And so, thank you, Liz, for joining me as my guest co-host. I
Wonderful to be
appreciate
here.
it. Thank you. Thank you. And all of you, if you don't watch any of Liz's live streams, you're in my doghouse. Subscribe to her, join her on her live streams, comment on her lives later, bring back Coffee with Liz. I love that show. It was one of my favorite Sunday shows. So, but I have to say I like Marlon's show on Sunday too. Another Canadian.
Yes.
But our guest, tell us a little something about our guest, Liz. I know it's more your finger of the treasure hunt in hand.
My goodness. Butch is a treasure hunting legend, and he's the publisher and the founder of American Digger magazine, which you might have a chance to win a copy today. So how great is that?
I think it's really great. I just have one question, Butch. Can I get in on it?
Well, it's open to everyone unless you're on this screen right now. And it's not just one copy, it is a subscription. A full year of the hard copy magazine. That's like the one you can actually hold and flip through. And we're going to be giving that away somehow tonight. I'll leave it up to you guys how you want to do it. But I appreciate you having me on the show here. I'm just kind of camped out on the beaches of here.
That's okay. It looks like a beautiful day wherever beach you're on.
That's right. All I can think of is I know there's some jewelry out in that surf. That's all I know.
Well, I'm sure you'll be beeping here in no time, huh?
Oh. But it's just great to be here with you guys tonight. I appreciate you inviting me on. We were talking a little bit about Dahlonega, Georgia, and I was telling you before the show, that's actually where I went on my honeymoon, and my wedding gift was a big bucket of high grade ore. So I love it all. I love detecting. I love the gold prospecting. I love the gold finding. And we do American Digger magazine. I'm actually the founder and publisher of American Digger. We're going into our 20th consecutive year now.
Nice, nice.
Yeah, we are the only treasure magazine still left in the USA that offers hard copy. And we're going to continue doing that because I found out a lot of people don't want to do digital. There were a couple magazines that went 100% digital and they went out of business. So that told us all we need to know.
Well, my favorite mining magazine is International California Mining Journal. And I get a paperback and a digital subscription. If they went strictly digital, I don't think I'd subscribe anymore.
It loses something. Well, one thing that happens on the internet, people can't get it out of their mind that if it's digital, it's supposed to just be free. And unfortunately, if a magazine or publication is absolutely free, it's going to go out of business. And another thing is, I like a paper copy. I like to be able to hold it, to read it, to take it to private places that I wouldn't want to drop my cell phone into.
Right. And, they call it a library for a reason.
Library, yes. You drop a magazine into the library, it gets wet, you drop your cell phone or tablet, and there you go. So,
right.
And one thing about our magazine too, I'm sure a lot of the people out there already know about it. And if you don't know about it, then shame on you. But you can actually get in touch with one of these folks here, and we'll get you a sample copy, whether you win the subscription or not. but we make the magazine to last, and it's actually a collector's item. I mean, we don't, and I was always good friends with the people, Stephen Roseberry Anderson, that put out Western Eastern Treasures. They were some of my mentors, but the only complaint I had was their magazine would tear up. So going from that, we decided to make our magazine durable. And like I say, there's people that clamor to get the whole set because there's a lot of issues we're sold out of.
And another thing, your magazine, it's glossy all the way through. It's color all the way through. There's no black and white pages.
No, there's not. The first few issues were all black and white, and then as soon as we could afford it, we put our money back into the magazine, so we made it as high quality as we could, and we get a lot of comments from people about just how pretty it is, And what better way to view, be it gold, treasure, relics, arrowheads, bottles, looking at them in color is nothing like black and white. And that's the beauty of it. I love it. It's my magazine. I'd buy it even if I didn't.
And I gotta say, because I recently won a subscription on Treasure Talk, and I thank you for that. But just opening the package that it comes in for the very first time and sliding that crisp magazine out, you can't put a price on that. You
can't, and it's and when it comes straight out of the package, just this sounds terrible, but just smell it, and you smell the ink and the print, and just something I love.
Something digital doesn't give you, that's for sure.
Digital doesn't give you that, and we do sell a lot of digital subscriptions. And it's great for people that are overseas because we're international now. And people overseas, if they pay for this, the print magazine to be mailed, the postage is actually more than the subscription is.
Yeah.
So in that case, like in the UK, we have a lot of subscribers, and a lot of those are digital. And I can understand that. I mean, that's why we offer both, different strokes for different folks.
Exactly.
But I can't imagine doing anything else than the magazine. And we also publish books too. The most recent one was for Bill Dancy, a colonial relic book, which is hitting real big right now. And I don't know if I don't have a copy of it.
It's under the palm tree there.
Oh yeah, that's it. Oh wait, the breakers are going to get it. If anybody sees a fin coming up beside me, a big fin, let me know so I can get out of the way of the sharks.
Right.
But I tell you what, this hobby is it's just, I have actually been a metal detectorist for actually 53 years now. And I still do it as regularly as I can, which is pretty often. I went out this past weekend. I went treasure hunting. I didn't go treasure finding. But that's part of it too. If you don't get out and swing your detector, or try to do some panning or whatever, then you're not going to find it. You've got to get out there and try. That's the number one thing. Is it's a numbers game, really. The more you do it, the more you're going to find. But you're going to have a heck of a good time doing it.
Exactly.
That's so true. The more you get out, the more you're going to find.
That's it. I mean, you can even break it down further. With a metal detector, the more holes you dig, the more you dig. The more swings you make, the more you're going to find. You're not going to find anything sitting at home, reading the magazine. Go ahead and read the magazine. If you're sitting at home on the couch on a pretty weekend and you're not out doing this, then no, you're not going to find this incredible stuff.
Yeah. Treasure doesn't come to you for sure.
You have to go to it, and it's a lot of work. And if you don't love it, you're not going to do it. And I think without any other qualifications, the three of us and probably everybody on the chat room tonight, they love this. They love this hobby. Like I say, 53 years, and I still can't get enough of it.
Wow. Dedication.
Dedication and loving your job.
Yeah.
I know I enjoy many fingers of the treasure hunting hand, and I've always liked rocks, and rocks got me into prospecting,
Yes.
and also dump hunting and bottle hunting and
Yeah.
shoot all kinds
Mm-hmm.
of hunting.
Mm-hmm.
That's
Yeah.
all it takes. I think rocks in general get a lot of us into what we're doing, because my first find ever, old find, I was probably 7 years old, and I found an arrowhead. And on my uncle's property, when he told me how old that arrow was and about the Native Americans and Indians that made it out of stone, I was just enthralled with it. And from that time on, I just wanted to find old stuff, no matter what it was. And then when I don't know, 10, 11, something like that, I discovered metal detectors. So
There's actually a comment, I guess a question for you, Butch, in the chat from Why Gold Metal Detecting Adventures, and he's asking if you do anything else besides publishing magazines, like podcasts or YouTube videos or anything else.
Yes, I pretty well work full time to be able to do what I love. And in addition to publishing the magazine, we also publish quality books, and I'm talking about nice hardcover books. We do those on contract a lot. We just got through doing one for Bill Dancy. We did his first book. We did another one that I was co-author of. And that is actually our main company is Graybird Publishers, which I also own and I'm the founder of, and we're a very small business. But also we do a very long running Monday night podcast called American Diggers Relic Roundup. We're going into the 15th year now.
Oh wow! Congratulations!
Yeah, just about. Yeah, it's I think we're probably the longest running relic hunting and prospecting, treasure podcast there is out there, and we're proud to say that we actually come up in an Apple search. If you look at the Apple podcast, we're actually rated something. I'm not sure what. And then in addition to that, we also put on 2 very large shows a year. The next one coming up is in Charleston, South Carolina, January 6th and 7th. And that's the Low Country Antique Militaria and Americana show. And it's sponsored by American Digger Magazine. In July, we also have one in Chattanooga. But we have about 200 to 250 8-foot tables of all kinds of metal detecting equipment, artifacts for sale, arrowheads, bottles, old books, just about anything that's what's like it says, it's a lot of old military stuff, but there's also a lot of Americana stuff there too. And we always have a few people that have gold equipment there too.
There you go, Ed.
hey, if you're down in Charleston on January 6th and 7th, be sure and come to that. It's really an amazing thing. I was looking for the address. Yeah, it's the Omar Shrine Temple, Patriots Point Road in Mount Pleasant, and that is right next to Charleston. So you get to come to a great show, and then you get all that good seafood at Charleston, and man, there ain't nothing like it.
I was thinking I'd like to get to Chattanooga again, because right there you have Rock City and Tabletop, the fort up on top of the hill in Alabama.
Lookout Mountain.
Lookout Mountain. Thank you, Butch. Ruby Falls and that Civil War battlefield that's right there with the museum. I really enjoyed my visit there the last time.
Great area up there. And that one will be in July. If you get in touch with me on Facebook or just keep your eyes open, you'll see it. That's also sponsored by American Digger Magazine. I'm the show promoter, and we have my wife and one other partner, and we pretty much do it all.
And I believe at that show I'd have a really good chance of meeting a a big-time metal detecting celebrity,
Oh,
Emily.
there's a lot of them there.
Mm.
There really is, and it's funny, we're all friends in this, but there are a lot of YouTube celebrities, and they come to these shows, and it's great just to be able to meet them and put a name with just actually meet people face to face like that. And that's the thing. Even the YouTube celebrities, like you guys, for instance, we're here. Don't laugh, Liz. I've seen you around the block. Kind of a big deal.
Liz is the celebrity.
She's a celebrity, and we don't think about it because we just think, wow, we just like to metal detect or like to treasure. But a lot of people
Yes.
come up to us, and it's important that we put a good face to the hobby out there. And most of the YouTubers do that, and a lot of them do come to the shows.
Mm-hmm.
So I'll tell you another great thing about the shows is, okay, this goes mainly for metal detecting, but I have, even as long as I've done it, I find things every trip that I don't know what they are. You bring those things to a show and start showing them around to people, and eventually somebody will say, oh, that's a radiator cap from a 1912 Ford or something like that. But you identify stuff.
Right.
Very important.
There's there's always somebody somewhere. And the internet has really brought the world into a really smaller place. There's always somebody that knows what it is that you can't identify. Always, for sure.
There is. And sometimes you will have 2 or 3 different people that disagree on the identity. They swear they're all right. So you got to take it with a grain of salt, but getting the input. And usually if one person tells me what it is, I will believe them until somebody else steps up and then says, no, that's a so-and-so. And then at that point, you kind of have to go, wait a minute, it can't be both. And it makes you do your homework and you figure out what it is.
Yeah. There aren't too many unidentified relics out there. At least I don't believe there are.
Oh, yeah, there is.
Really?
You don't believe it or not, still, yes.
Really?
I went metal detecting this past weekend and dug up something that's made of iron. It's not a farm equipment. It's not part of a plow. I have no idea what it is. And I've never dug up one before, but I have now. And I don't know. We call them GOKs. G-O-K. God only knows. Which is better than a POC, which is a piece of crap.
Yeah.
I just use the word of whatchamacallit.
Or that.
That works too.
Or that.
One thing that throws a lot of people off, especially on iron relics, when you're thinking back to the 1800s, even 1700s, way back there, when somebody needed a part of some kind, a blacksmith would make it. And no 2 blacksmiths were the same. They might make the same. They might make 2 completely different parts that look completely different, and it's for the same use. So you're not going to see another one because it's somebody sitting there banging it out of metal till it works.
Mm-hmm.
That's something else to think about.
That's true. Got another question for you, Butch.
Sure.
My goodness, I'm sorry. I don't know who this is.
Who does my hair? Nobody. Harmonize.
Yeah. Do you think that metal detecting is getting overwhelming and overrated? And he goes on to say, do you think there might be a bubble about to burst because there's just so many people getting into it so quickly? Do you think that there might be a housing bubble that will burst?
I don't think so. What I do see happening, and I've seen this through the years too, even before it got as big as it is now, is there will be people that come and go in this hobby. There will be other people that get into this hobby and they love it so much they're there to stay. So you're going to see a lot of people, because of KG and Riggy's shows and these podcasts and things like that. They get excited about metal detecting, or for that matter, gold prospecting.
Mm-hmm.
They go out, they get the equipment, they do it a few times and find out it's a lot harder work than they thought it was, and then boom, they're out. So you're going to see that happen off and on. And another question I get asked is, with all these metal detectors, is there going to be anything left to find in a few years? And my answer is unequivocally yes. I mean, you think of how many millions of old home sites there are scattered throughout just the U.S. And even though we think we're a big group, metal detectors are still just a drop in the bucket. I don't know how many people do it worldwide, but I would say it's probably, maybe a couple 100,000. I don't know. We're a small fish in a big sea, I think.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they say we're a bit of a micro hobby.
We are, yeah.
Yeah.
Even as big as American Digger magazine is, we're still considered a niche publication.
Mm.
That question was by Why Gold.
Do you metal detect? Most people are go to a Kroger or something and say, "Do you metal detect? Do you metal detect?" Most people are going to say no.
Mm-hmm.
So that's how small we are.
That question was from Why Gold again, Liz, and he has another one.
Sure.
Why Gold, Rob, such as current U.S. coin currency being able to be degraded and toasted faster in the ground due to cheaper materials, yeah, I would say so. Sorry, but Buckle Boy Metal Detecting says, I've got a question for Butch. What got you into the hobby so many years ago, those years ago, and who got you started?
Oh, great question, Buckle Boy. Actually, I told a while ago how I got interested in old stuff. I found an arrowhead just out of the blue. I was about 7 years old. But when I was about I'm guessing around 10 or 11, something like that, I lived in the Southeast, and the big thing back then was going to Civil War sites and finding Civil War relics. Mm-hmm. And I actually made friends with a guy up in Kennesaw, and his name, he's passed now, but it's Dent Myers. He owned a store called Wild Man's Civil War Surplus. And that's all he did. If he wasn't at his store, he was out metal detecting. And he actually guided me towards buying my first metal detector. And the bad thing was, though, that that was too expensive for my mom and dad, the detector he recommended. So my daddy actually ordered me one from Poplar Mechanics, and it was called a Heath kit. And you had to put it together out of a kit. And to show you how high-tech it wasn't called a metal detector, it's called a metal locator. And it had a chromium steel rod that screwed directly into the search coil. And it found a little bit of stuff, but I got so hooked on that a couple of Christmases later, my mom and dad relented, and they got me a White's Coin Master. Mm. And once I did that, I went back to Dent's shop, and he started telling me places to go, and it just snowballed from there. And I was so addicted to metal detecting, still am, in fact, but I would always keep my metal detector in the car. And after work every day, I would stop somewhere and metal detect. I would metal detect a lot of times during my lunch hour. And I actually was known to take sick days and go metal detecting. Whereas
right on. Good stuff.
I would go metal detecting, I would go to work. So, kids, don't try that at home. It's bad. You'll end up like me with a magazine and books.
I don't want to say something, but my boss might be in the chat room. But hey, Butch, I've ditched work to go prospecting.
So. Oh,
heck yeah!
Haven't we all? Thing is, now I own my own business, so what am I going to do? Fire me? I can't, because nobody else is stupid enough to do my job for what I'm. So I've got job security.
Hey, Butch, do you still have some of the early finds that you made in your detecting career, like when you were a child? Do you still have those?
I've got almost all of them. I was actually talked out of one or two items by one time was a property owner, and how could I refuse him? And another time I found some sharpshooters bullets, which at the time were going for $50 a piece. Now they're about $200 a piece. I had like 10 of them, so I did sell off some of those to help buy a new metal detector. But I've actually still got the first Civil War bullet I ever found, and since then, I found over 10,000.
Wow, that's amazing. That's wonderful.
And now what we do is because I know some people have seen us at the shows at some of the events, and we actually sell displays of Civil War relics. Those are ones that I buy to resell, because the sad fact is not everybody wants to keep their stuff. You know, some people want to turn it into cash, and for those people, we tend to buy it and resell it, because the thing is, whoever ends up with it is going to cherish it, because nobody's going to spend money for something they don't want. So I figure it goes to a good home regardless.
Yes. Couple more questions for you, Butch.
Yeah.
What is your favorite type of hunt? Beach, fields, parks, etc. And someone as well, they asked what your best find was.
Okay. My favorite type of hunting still remains, well, let me put it this way. I went to England for the first time in my life a couple of months ago. That's my favorite hunting, period. But in America, like I say, I grew up hunting Civil War sites and Civil War battlefields. They were all around me. And when I can find a good enough site, that's still my preference. But that being said, I enjoy all types of hunting now. In fact, I'm looking at this backdrop I have, thinking, okay, the second line of breakers is where the gold's going to be. But my favorite find, gosh, I've got several. I'll go through it this way. Let's start with my oddest find, my strangest find, and that was a piece of an airplane wing that was about 2 feet long that fell off of a military aircraft and had the serial number on it. The aircraft didn't crash, but I turned in the serial number and nobody ever responded. So I'm not sure if there were black vans looking for me or what after that. Still got it. But my best Civil War find, and probably my most valuable find, was I'm going to say belt buckle, but it actually went on a cartridge box. And it was Georgia State Seal. It's brass with a lead filled back. Absolutely mint condition. And there were only 1,000 of those made. So if you think of, let's say, a coin where there's only 1,000 of them made and you find one of them, pretty doggone rare. And value wise, it's probably, I don't know, $8,000-$10,000, something like that.
Wow.
My most interesting find, one with a backstory, was I found a Civil War soldier's identification tag. Now, back then, they were not issued by the government. That soldier had to pay for them to get them. And I found this and did the research on the fella, found out his father was a world famous architect, very rich family, rich man, but his son was listed as a deserter, who I found the ID tag for. They busted his rank and were going to court martial him, and the father stepped in, and one thing led to another, and suddenly he was reinstated to his old position and all charges were dropped. So that's a matter of money talking, I believe.
Maybe.
And another one, and this will be the last one we'll do on this, but I was actually metal detecting in Augusta, Georgia, not far from where the soul singer James Brown grew up. And I found what I call the ring of James Brown, because it has 14 diamonds in it. It's yellow gold with platinum interwoven in it. Feels like it weighs about half a pound. And what's funny, 10 feet away, I found a deputy sheriff's badge.
Oh, wow.
I have no idea the story behind that one. But I call it the ring of James Brown, and it fits me, but my wife doesn't like me to wear it. She says it's tacky.
And might be a little gaudy.
Okay, I'm gonna have a little.
bad karma there too.
I'm going to have a question here because I'm already being hounded in the room, as always, from the wonderful FlashFam, about treasure porn. They're wanting to see if you would share some of your finds with them.
Like how? What, you mean like pictures or?
Artifacts, I don't know, guys, help me out in the chat. What do you want to see?
You want to see a pinup of my mini balls I found or what?
Treasure board. Anything you want to share with them, they'd want to see.
Send me $30 and I'll lift my shirt.
Hear that, Divavia? Why Gold? $30, care of Butch at American Digger Magazine. I didn't warn him first, everybody. I didn't warn him first.
Well, I tell you, if you want to see some treasure porn, if anybody knows what the White Oak Museum is, and a lot of people won't, but some people will. It was a museum that closed down in Virginia that was a huge Civil War collection. And it closed down several years ago. We did an interview with them right as they were closing. And in appreciation for that, the widow of the man that ran the place sent me this. Pretty nice thank you gift, I would believe. But that's a U.S. belt buckle. It's actually marked on the back with manufacturer. And, you know, I guess that's technically relic porn. I don't know.
It's all treasure porn.
Treasure porn.
I had you pin up. I got you pinned up. So,
are you asking for a centerfold in our magazine? No, we won't have a centerfold.
You should. You should. A big old ring or a buckle, you know, just think at all the treasure hunters that would be drooling.
Or pinning that up on their walls. Think about that.
Right. Yeah, I know prospectors that have gold nuggets pinned up on their wall. You don't think we won't pin up a musket or a saber or something like that too? I know I would. Hey.
Center page spread of a Confederate musket or something. Sure.
You know, that's one thing about the magazine is and I kind of kid around. I say that we cater to the literate and the illiterate because we put a lot of great pictures in the magazine. Our magazine has a lot of eye candy in it. And we put a lot of close-up detailed pictures of, you know, whatever we have and or whatever people send in. And that's something that you should check out on American Digger Magazine. We devote about 12 to 14 pages of what we call Just Dug. And that's anything that's been found within the last 6 or 8 months, we put in the magazine. And that includes not only metal detecting finds, but we could always use more gold as far as prospecting and finding gold. Nuggets, I think there's some nuggets in this last one. We've had dinosaur fossils in there. We get a lot of bottles. We get arrowheads. And that kind of says the crux of what American Digger Magazine is. It encompasses everything like that. Any kind of treasure, you'll find it in there.
Now, Butch, how do you you must get a lot. I would imagine you get a lot of submissions for your magazine. Is it you, or do a couple people get together and go through the submissions to pick,
It's generally just me because, like I say, we're still a small operation. We've got 2 full-time employees and 3 or 4 part-timers. And a lot of volunteers, a heck of a lot of volunteers that do a wonderful job. but I usually select the ones for the Just Doug and also the articles. And one of the things I can't stress enough is we have to have good pictures. We've actually turned down some really rare stuff because we can't put out of focus pictures in the magazine. If it's a big blurry object, then nobody wants to see that. We'll put a sharp picture of a wheat penny in there before we'll put a picture of a gold dollar that just looks like a yellow blob.
Right.
And that's very important. Also, no matter how good it looks when you post it on the internet or whatever, when you send us pictures, send them full size, large size photos, because us being print, we have to shrink those photos down until they're proper for the magazine. And if it doesn't start out as a big photo, then it's too small to reproduce. And also tell us a little bit about it. Give us your name, what kind of detector you use, what you know about the object, etc. And we also take freelance stories. 99.9% of what you read in the magazine is written by our readers. Because
so people can submit their articles then.
Yes, absolutely. Submit articles to us. The guidelines are actually on our website, which is americandigger.com. And for a full-length article, we ask for anywhere from 1,200 to 2,500 words and about a dozen pictures, good pictures. Because who better can tell the story of artifacts than the people that are finding them? So that's what makes our magazine so good. Is I look at the magazine, it's not my magazine, it's the reader's magazine. So I want to see what they found and I want to hear their story.
Just a couple quick questions if you can. That way, there's a lot of people asking questions tonight. Finding Alabama wants to know, can we expect a book from you soon?
Well, I've had several out already. Gosh, I can't believe I'm unprepared. None of them are here from me.
Under the palm tree.
Under the palm tree, I believe. Okay. The most
on your towel.
Yes. The most recent serious book that I did was Civil War Relics of the Western Campaign and Beyond with myself and Charlie Harris as co-author. It's I'm guessing at the pages, I think it's about 350 pages, hardcover, richly illustrated. It goes by all the Southeast states and artifacts that are found in each one. They're all in color. It's great to identify stuff with. That actually started out as a 1,000-copy run, and we're down to about 200 now. So if you want one of those, you need to get it. And by the way, the co-author on that passed away right after the book. Right after I did the book, he passed away 2 weeks later after the books were delivered. So there were a select few that had his autograph in them. And if you got that in my autograph, you got something you need to hold on to. Also, I've got, as far as humorous books, my most recent one was No, I Won't Shut Up. And I guarantee you will get a laugh out of it. If you don't get a laugh out of No, I Won't Shut Up, if you'll return the unused portion of the book, I'll return the unused portion of your money. That's a guarantee.
My goodness.
I think I've left everybody's speech. Aren't y'all questions?
Got another question for you. Another one from Hot Mess Fishing.
Yeah.
She wants to know, are you going to be in attendance at a Bone 31 in April? Because she'd love to meet you.
We used to do all the bone hunts, and we have a great time doing them. Allison Cohen, who works for the magazine, has been doing them the last couple of years. We may make it up there this April. The problem is with the magazine, people want me so many places, and I want to be so many places. There's only one of me. So I can't guarantee that I'll be there. We're going to try to be. It's always a fun event that George Streeter puts on, and all I can say is we'll try.
That's fair. That's
Yeah,
fair.
if I could clone myself, I would enjoy it.
I bet you have to turn down a lot of
I
appearances.
do, and I hate doing it because I mean, for the most part, I love everybody connected with this hobby. It's the best hobby I've ever had. Yeah, I've met a few jerks, but the jerks are not nearly as much as the good people. You know, I love being around the people, and we were recently up at what was it? Kadoha Treasure Fest up in Arkansas. And that was a great time. That was one I was actually able to attend, and I'm proud or embarrassed to say, I'm not sure which, but they had a karaoke.
Oh boy!
And I tried karaoke, and I even got Gypsy Jules dancing while I was singing. So my gosh, that was worth coming to see right there.
Oh my! Is there a video? Are you aware of a video?
Yes.
Anywhere
There is a video of it. Yes.
Oh, gonna have to find that.
Yeah, I'll have to share it again. There's several videos of it.
Oh my goodness!
And kids, no alcohol was involved. I was completely sober. It was never done it before, but I'll probably do it again.
I have to clarify something really quick, Butch. Pardon me. Liz, our friend Alicia is in the live chat, and I know she has, you can't see her on your live streams. Can you see her?
In the chat, I have a chat open. If she wants to say something in the chat, I will look for it. But I have not.
We've been talking a bit.
Okay.
Tag Liz, hot mess. Tag Liz.
Butch. There's stuff going on in YouTube land where, for some reason, I cannot see hot mess fishing's messages or anything that she sends whenever I live stream. But yet, it's reciprocated. I can't comment on her videos and she can't comment on mine. There's something going on.
She's just made 2 comments right now. Hi, Liz. Laughing face. We never see each other.
I'm not. Maybe we'll see each other at an event.
Sorry, Alicia.
I did not see anything whatsoever.
It does, huh, Gold Hunter? Sounds like a hot mess. It is, because she isn't blocked or nothing.
No.
So I don't, and you can't see her even in my chat. That's flipping YouTube. Come on, Google.
I know there's something going on. There's something going on.
About the time I think I've got it all figured out, YouTube does something else crazy, so I give up.
Exactly. Hey, another question. Gonna get another question because they're piling up. Digging with Deej wants to know, what is your vision for the future of American Digger magazine?
Oh wow. We'll keep going till the day I die, and I hope that's a long time from now. And I've got a crack team of editors, 2 of them in particular that are going to take over the magazine one day. That would be Debbie Schiffer Blades, who we've just brought aboard, and she's like Wonder Woman. And also Bob Roach, who is actually travels with the State Department, but as soon as he retires, he's going to start jumping into the magazine more. And we're just going to keep on doing what we're doing, because if it ain't broke, don't fix it. And you know, we're gonna try to do more events. We're gonna just keep growing. And if you got something, as far as our readers know, if you have something you would like to see the magazine do, like go in a different direction or something, let us know, because we read every email and letter that comes to us, we look at. And you know, that's a good business model for anybody, I would think, that owns their own business. Listen to your customers.
Yes. Another question, Butch, if you don't mind. Why Gold again says that what is your favorite detector to go to use?
Wow. Well, this is the truth. I actually own one of every detector of the people that advertise with American Digger magazine, and one that doesn't even advertise I still use. But I'm the one I swing a lot because of the weight is the XP Deus 2. I do love that machine. I love Garrett's. Actually, I use an old AT Pro for water hunting and fresh water. I love that. I've got a Mind Lab, the Knox. I use a Knox occasionally. What else have I got? I've got a Fisher F75, which I absolutely love it in trashy areas because I've got a little bitty hockey puck coil on it, and I can pick right in between nails. And I also have several other detectors, but the way I look at metal detectors is, first of all, it's like golf clubs. You can't win a game of golf if all you've got's a driver or a putter. You need a few different metal detectors. That being said, though, if you've only got one metal detector, learn it inside and out. Don't go out and buy the next greatest thing without learning the one you've got. Because somebody that really knows their metal detector will out-hunt any of the new machines. I've seen it done many a time. And so my advice to that, like I say, I'm really loving the XP Deus right now, but it took me almost a year to go through the learning curve of it. And, you know, I've learned it now and I do well with it.
That's
good stuff.
That's true. Learn your machine.
Absolutely. And people, and I'm not against the latest, greatest bells and whistles on metal detector, but if you get a metal detector and keep it 2 months and then trade it off for another one, you didn't learn the metal detector. You learned the basics maybe, but not what you really need to know.
That's true. And you know, there's a lot of people that perhaps financially they can't swing getting the latest model of detectors. And I tell you, a lot of people, it could be, I don't know, some of the, I guess, the older detectors, like you said, if they know that detector, they are going to out detect anybody out in the field.
There was a gentleman I knew, well, Dennis Cox, I think a lot of people in the relic world, Civil War relic world, knew of him. But and he still metal detects, I think. But he was one of the best relic hunters I've ever seen, and he used a machine that was made almost 50 years ago, a Nautilus.
Wow!
The last I heard, he was still using that same machine, and he knew it inside and out. The downside was it was a very heavy machine, but he got used to it. But he just knew it so well that, you know, he would tell me, he'd say, yeah, I know what it's telling me. I think that's a button and it would be, or I think that's a nail and it would be. And that's what's important. Learn it. One of the things that I won't say it soured me on professional archaeology, because there are some great archaeologists out there. God bless the ones that are, but a lot of them don't like us metal detectors. And my stepson was dating an archaeological student one time, and I befriended her. You know, we got along pretty good. And she was actually working a site one time, and I volunteered to go with my metal detector to help them out, but they didn't trust me to go. Instead, they went out, they bought a metal detector, God knows what kind. They trained her one afternoon in using it. She went out to the site the next day, said all she found was beer cans and pull tabs. So they allowed a road to come through there. That was their survey. Of course she didn't find it. She didn't know the detector. Yeah. It breaks my heart. You know, what we do is a highly skilled hobby, and make no bones about it. There is definitely a skill level to it.
Now, here's where I have reasons why I say it, but most of those reasons are BLM controlled lands and public lands, which here on the East, we don't have any really to say. I call my love for prospecting more than a hobby. It's a lifestyle.
It is, yeah.
And uh, so you would agree with that also, Butch. Even Liz, I saw Liz shaking her head like,
Yeah, it's a lifestyle. It's way more than a hobby. I think a hobby is when you get your metal detector, put on shorts and sandals with black socks and go out, you know, and find a set of car keys. That's a
right,
hobby. It's what we do. It's a lifestyle. And here's the thing, really the professionals should listen to us a whole lot more because I'm going to call us amateurs, even though it's our lifestyle. The amateurs are the ones that wrote most of the books that archaeologists use as far as metal artifacts. I know they use the one that Charlie Harris and I wrote because we've had a couple of archaeological firms order them. We are a great tool that they're not looking at. They don't look at the fact that most of us know a lot more than what the schools could ever teach anyone on metal artifacts. Now, Indian artifacts, stone, that's different. But on metal artifacts, they're wasting a great talent, and that's their choice.
I kind of have a sour taste for academia.
Yeah.
When it comes to archaeology and treasure hunting and everything like that.
They made it that way. They have made it that way.
Yeah.
I mean, we have a few bad apples, but if you listen to what's taught in the school, in the academia and the archaeology departments, it is that anyone with a metal detector is evil. They're treasure hunters, and they're just in it for the money. Whereas we'll go out and dig something free of charge, but archaeologists have to get paid to do it. So who's the real treasure hunters there?
Right.
Good point, huh?
And a lot of detectorists I've noticed, and amateur archaeologists like my friend Greg Shipley we were talking about earlier, they give all the artifacts they find to the property owner, and then he decides to give it to the historical societies or museums from there. And
Yeah.
I've seen that a lot in your appendage of the treasure hunt in hand. In the metal detecting community, unlike archaeologists, they dig up all kinds of graves,
Right, too.
which anyone else that's grave robbing, to them, it's like, oh, we're preserving history. Everybody, for a paycheck from a museum or just downright greed in general.
It's a shame. Like I say, there's good archaeologists, but I tell you what Greg Shipley is doing. I've been in on his digs, and you have too.
Yes.
And he is doing everything that an archaeologist would do. He's doing it free of charge. The state is not paying him. He's not waiting on a paycheck. He's getting the history out of the ground and getting it to where people can see it. And something I've run into with the archaeological community, and also unfortunately museums, is that they say that we hide away our artifacts. No, most of us, if you want to see artifacts, come to the Charleston show, come to any of the shows we do. But the archaeologists go to, for instance, the University of Georgia, ask to see all their finds. You can't do it. They don't. They either will not show them to you. They may have a handful on display that you might can see by appointment, but most of them are tucked away in the archaeological departments, awaiting study, which might not ever come. So, they're the ones that don't let us see the stuff. And museums, now I love museums. God knows I love museums.
Right.
But something everyone should be aware of, if you donate something to a museum, number one, they do not have to put it on display. And number two, if they think it better to sell that artifact and use that money to buy some other display or to even keep their rights on, they will sell it, and that's their right. And I've seen things that were donated to museums come back around in the private market. So that's something to think about.
Timothy Lynch says, hi, well, hello, Ed, Butch, and Liz. Hi,
Hey,
Team Lynch.
Right on.
That's the easiest question I've had all night.
Well, we're gonna have to get you a hard one.
Buckle Boy Metal Detecting says,
I'll put my hat on since Liz got hers.
Archies are gradually turning around. It's super slow, though. I've helped and digged several times before, and were good experience.
Yeah, it is good experience. And here's what bothers me on the digs that a lot of people volunteer for. Okay, if you want to do it for experience, that's great. But in most of the ones I've ever seen, they'll ask the detectorists to go out there, work, find the artifact, maybe flag it until they find out there's so much stuff being found. Then they'll start letting you dig up your own stuff.
Mm-hmm.
You're not allowed to keep so much as a piece of rust. They demand to keep everything. And hey, here's the thing. They're getting paid. They're getting a paycheck for being out there, and you're out there sweating it. If you're lucky, they'll give you free water and a lunch, and you don't get to keep anything. And to me, that's not mutual respect. And I think mutual respect is where it's got to be at. And I've yet to see that with them, unfortunately. Here's a good example. The magazine, maybe 6-7 years ago, we had a fella that wrote an article. He was an ophthalmologist, and he wrote an article about a glass eye that was found at a privy that was being dug by archaeologists. So it was a great article. We approached the archaeological firm for permission to use some of their photographs of the dig, which actually had been already published in a newspaper and some kind of trade journal, the photographs had. And we merely asked for permission, and we got back a scathing reply from the archaeologists that they do not help treasure hunters. And they would not let us photograph or publish any of the photographs. And I nicely tried to explain to the guy, send him a copy of the magazine. He replied back that his decision stood. He would not allow any of the photographs to be used.
Wow.
So that's okay. What I did in the magazine, and at that time we had circulation around 3,000. I published in there that unfortunately so-and-so archaeologist would not allow his photographs to be used. However, here's his email and phone number if you want to touch with him. I don't know if anybody did, but it's payback is payback.
Exactly.
It's not right, because we're in this because we love it.
Mm-hmm.
And I would think that out of the three of us and probably everybody in the chat room, nobody has ever made a find that makes them rich. We don't do this for the money. There's more money in digging ditches. So the archaeologists, we do this for pure love.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll get off my soapbox.
Friend, well, I might put you back on it here in a second. Because I asked Jeremy to play me his fiddle when he was on. And now that he's been playing more, next time I have him on, I'm going to ask him more. He says you're also a musician.
Yeah. Wait, who was that? Jeremy?
Yeah, Finding Alabama.
Jeremy. Yeah, the fiddle player. We have yet to jam, but yeah, that was originally what I thought I would be as a professional musician, until I found out how heavy equipment is to move around. also that you didn't make much more money at that than you did metal detecting. So Plus, I didn't. That was the thing of having this thing called talent, which I never had a lot of. But I do play. I play guitar, bass. I actually grew up playing bluegrass music, and
Nice.
over the last 10 years or so, started playing more rock and roll progressive music. But I just do it as a hobby. But my real love is writing songs, and I've actually got several songs I've written concerning metal detecting and treasure hunting, and you can find them on the internet. Oh, what is it, SoundCloud or Spotify or something like that. But if you listen to our Monday night podcast, Relic Roundup, I actually recorded and wrote and played the intro music and the outgoing music in that. So if you want to hear why I'm not a professional musician, just go over there and listen to it. Jeremy, me and him are going to jam one day, and we're going to have a good time, because if you can play fiddle, then you're like a god to me, because that's the one that I never could play.
I love the fiddle. I love the fiddle.
I used to love bluegrass, and I played it so much, I really kind of burned myself out on it. But here lately, I'm thinking, I ought to do that more, because I can actually play that instead of pretending.
My stepson's a musician, and my nephew, and I've had to play roadie whenever we go down to Tennessee to see my stepson. Usually we go to one of his gigs, and I always end up playing roadie.
That's a tough job too. Oh, it's a tough job. Oh, it's that's one reason we like I say, I played bluegrass. It was mostly acoustic instruments and stuff. But when we would have a gig, we still had to have amplifiers and stuff, to be heard, and mics and all in them. It's a people don't realize that's rough on your back. That stuff's heavy.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, it is.
But it's something I love. I've always been a really creative person, and so it's being creative, writing stuff for the magazine, or writing songs, or I've actually written some stories and been published in Chicken Soup for the Soul, and which was kind of neat to have happen. And it's just something that it's like metal detecting. The writing becomes a part of you, creating becomes a part of you, and it's a lifestyle.
There it is.
And I must be doing something right, because obviously I eat pretty well, because I'm a big bone guy. That's what my mom would always say. He's big boned, and my daddy would say, no, he's fat. And actually, my daddy was right.
All right, thank you, Weigold.
Oh, hey, we got to give away a subscription somehow. I don't know how.
If you would like to get in on this giveaway, it's easy. It's easy. Just type in the room American Digger. Just go ahead, type in the room American Digger. I just posted it. I'll pin it up so you can see it. What you have to type in. And here in a few minutes, we'll give some lucky reader a year's subscription, or Butch will give some lucky viewer, reader, a year's subscription to American Digger magazine. Would Butch ever get involved in film production and a TV show by Weigold?
Well, it's a long story. We have been involved in it. We were actually we've talked back and forth with film crews. I actually have been on a few TV shows as just like a guest appearance. My favorite one was a PBS show because it was really, serious. And we actually, I don't want to go into it a lot, but there was a TV show by the same name as our magazine. We were briefly connected with that, and we severed ties on that, and that's something I really can't talk about, but it ended well, let's put it that way. But we got our feel of TV production too, and I've been approached a few times, and I'd always be open to it, but it would really have to be something above board. I don't want the made up stuff and all. And let's face it, what we do is boring to a lot of people, and I don't want to have to fake it to make it exciting. So
yeah, you have a point. You can't have a TV show of people digging bottle caps and pop tabs.
Nobody wants to. I don't want to watch that. I get enough of that. I think KG and Ringy and Nat Geo on the Digger show, I think they had the right combination of that, because they would go to sites, they would find cool stuff, but they would also let it be known that, hey, look, I dug a bottle cap or whatever. But they balanced it enough, that they were showing, hey, it's not all treasure, but it is here. And a lot of people say, oh, are those guys really do that? Yeah, I know both of them personally, and that is two of the hardest hunting guys I've ever seen. They are metal detecting monsters.
And their personalities too. It just, even if they dig something that's not that great, their personalities, it's their just,
For anybody that hasn't met them, they are that way in person. They're always pulling tricks on each other. For instance, KG went around Arkansas at the Cahuta, or the Treasure Fest at the Indian Village there, with a big old American Digger decal on his back that he didn't know was there. Because I came up and patted him on the back with a decal. So we've got pictures of that. He came over to my table and put some strange items and some displays we had there that I didn't notice till people started pointing them out to me. So those guys are a lot of fun. We have a blast. So if you ever get to meet them, folks, do it.
Jersey Ray digs.
Hey, Jersey.
Rach says, tell Butch I want to be where he is. Look at that palm tree.
Wait, is that somebody hunting my site? Hey, man, that's my beach.
And
Jersey Ray, I babysat her dog. I love that girl.
Oh, my dog, Slash. Yeah.
Slash, yeah. Yeah, being Slasher like that, man.
Slash, he's a great dude. That's my dog. Jersey Ray is just taking care of him for me. So we'll give you a few more minutes to put in American Digger in the chat room if you want to get in on a chance to win a year's subscription of this fabulous publication.
Here, look, there's a centerfold. I love this hobby. I love all you guys out there too. It's
very evident, Butch, that you still have fun and you enjoy the hobby. Seriously, no faking.
Honestly, okay, people think, wow, he owns a publishing company and does books and does a magazine, and this guy's rich. No, I struggle as much or more than anybody else, but I love my job so much that I would probably do it if I had to get the food line. I would still do this for a living. So I love it.
It's definitely a lifestyle of love, feast or famine, I'll be doing it if it gets me rich or if it keeps me poor.
We can't stop. People like us it's an addiction, but it is a doggone good addiction.
Yeah, my dad, Butch, he great man, was an educator, and he is the one that gave me my wanderlust, and my love for history and collecting. Um, great
Mhm.
man. And I think you would have got along really well with my old man.
I probably would have a, my daughter is, I'm so proud of my daughter. She's a history teacher.
Mm.
And she actually collects now. She doesn't metal detect, but she collects things from the Revolutionary War.
Oh.
So at the shows I'm at, I always look for something, usually a paper item or something from the Revolutionary War to give to her. And it's like I passed my love of history on to her, even though when she was a teenager, she told me, she said, Dad, that's junk you're finding. History's history. I want modern stuff. Boy, did she change once she became a teacher, and now she can't get enough of what I'm doing, even though she doesn't do it.
That's what my dad taught, history. And
God bless
before
our
before I reached 15, probably,
nation.
I've been to all the lower 48 because you know how teachers are, they have all summer off.
Yeah.
And my mom was a nurse, she would bank hours, and we'd take off for 4 to 6 weeks every summer. And my dad would take us all over the country to historic monuments and landmarks, battlefields, and
Mm.
all kinds of museums. It was
Yeah.
awesome.
And that brings up a good point to people out there with your kids and grandkids. Get them involved in this.
Mm-hmm.
If it's not actually finding the stuff, get them involved in appreciating the history. And especially nowadays, because there's a lot of history that's pretty much just being ignored and erased.
Yes.
And
Yes.
that's a bad thing.
Yes. It's
Yeah.
being, you know what, Butch, it's sad. It's being hidden. It's being erased. It's being re-edited. And, we need to keep it.
We do. There's what's that saying? Those that don't remember the past are condemned to repeat it.
Yes.
We've got to, no matter how ugly our past is, we've got to confront it and realize it was there. And it is.
Yes.
It's part of history.
Mm-hmm.
History's not
Yes.
always pretty, but don't erase it.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. Exactly. Very true.
I'm pretty sure there's pirate treasure on this beach.
Could be our matey, some doubloons and pieces of eight. Arr.
Hey Butch, what's you said earlier that you as I recall, you detect on the beach, correct?
What now?
You do you do detect on the beach.
I do. I love beach hunting too. And the older I get, the more appealing beach hunting becomes to me, because it's easy digging. You're on the beach. You can get cooled off in the water. And, I tell people that get into this hobby, if you really want to get into it and you want to find valuable stuff, go to the beach.
Mm.
Find the jewelry. There's some incredible jewelry people wear to the beach. God only knows why they wear diamond rings and tennis bracelets to the beach. But, go to the beach. And here's the golden rule. If it's got a name on it or someone can positively identify it without showing them a picture, let them tell you what the jewelry looks like, then give it back to them. But if they can't tell you what the jewelry looks like, it's probably not theirs and it's yours. That's the way I look at that. And I've seen some incredible stuff come off beaches.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Finding Alabama, our friend Jeremy.
Hey, Jeremy.
He wants to know, what brand of overalls does Butch recommend?
Dickies. Dickies, 100% Dickies. I have a sponsorship with Dickies overalls, and I even wore them to England. So I created a whole culture phenomenon when I went to England in my overalls.
Good question.
Real good. I know Jeremy hey, Jeremy, we get together and jam. I'll let you see the overalls close up. You can order a pair just like them.
No, my friend Gold, he's an avid detectorist from San Diego. Gold's metal detecting adventures. Rob. Butch, what is your scariest moment treasure hunting?
Oh wow.
Great question.
I gotta think about that one a minute. Okay, the scariest thing I think that's ever happened to me is, this has been many years ago, but I was out on property, had permission to be out there, but it was kind of a wilderness type area. I didn't even know there was a house nearby on it. And so a friend of mine and myself were out there. We were digging some incredible Civil War items, just really neat stuff. And we'd been out there several days off and on, and we had even gotten to the point that we took a weed eater out there and were cutting down all the brush and all so we could metal detect the area better. So, we obviously assumed that, it was okay to be out there. The lady told us we had permission. And so I asked my buddy, I said, Randy, are you finding anything? And about that time, a figure in full camouflage with face paint on stood up out of the bushes with a pistol in a double grip crouch and pointed at me, and he said, freeze, blank, blank. You too, Randy, and pointed the gun at my buddy. And he marched us out of the woods. I'm like, well, wait a minute, we got permission to be out there. I said, there's not even trespassing signs. And my buddy nudged me. He said, shut up. This guy's nuts. So we got back to our car. He marched us all the way to our car. He had parked behind us. He drove on off. And then I got really angry because the jerk had taken the valve stem out of two of our tires and let the air out of our tires.
Oh, man.
We found out, here's the story to that. We found out later on that the guy had I think it was a meth cookhouse nearby. And it wound up burning up, and he got killed in the fire. And I heard all this from a cop buddy of mine later.
Wow.
So we were probably too near his operation.
Yeah. Holy, this guy was serious. Holy.
Oh man, he was serious.
Wow, that's scary.
He had a full camo. He looked like he came from Vietnam or something. It was crazy. And obviously we never went back there. And later on, I talked to the lady, and she said, "Well, that's all my property back through there." And I said, "Well, there's some crazy guy out there." So that's my scariest encounter. Now I'll tell you another one that that frightened me a little bit. This goes way back. They were having child murders in Atlanta. Wayne Williams was arrested over it, but I think he supposedly killed 19 or 20 young black males. And I was metal detecting in an area that was part of this area of Atlanta. And I got a signal, and I started digging, and I got a belt, like a belt, like modern day. So I started to pull it, and here comes up a whole pants full of something, and I screamed, put it back down. It turned out it was pants full of leaves. I don't know why.
Scarecrow.
I thought I had found a body.
Wow.
So that's the two that stayed in my mind. But I've had several that were just odd encounters, but that was one of the funniest ones I had, although it was kind of frightening at the time. This woman gave my buddy and I permission to park at her trailer, go back through the woods, and we found this big Civil War hut site, and we started digging it out, and we find all kinds of cool things. We would come every weekend, park there, go out and dig our hole. I asked her, I said, "Do you want me to cover it back up?" "Oh, no, it's fine." So anyway, we got out there one day, and the hole had been covered up, and there was just a hole building up my back. I'm like, what's going on? About that time, the real property owner came up. And until I explained what was going on, he was livid. Then he started laughing. He said, "Oh, that's Miss Jones." He said, "She's nuts. She rents the trailer from me." And I'm like, "Well, sir, I'm sorry. Can we stay out here?" He said, "Nah, you better leave." I'm like, "Okay." So,
Oh my gosh. So Butch, you said some funny stuff, you said some scary stuff. Have you ever and I think I was watching somebody a younger detectorist in the some Confederate area getting some relics and then getting like a funny feeling when he touched the relics. Have you ever
yeah.
something very personal that just kind of gave you a funny, just not maybe not funny, but I mean like a
Well,
interesting feeling?
oh yeah. One, and I still can't explain it to this day, but I was at a place and I walked through this grove of trees. It was where a battle had taken place and a lot of people had died in this area. And I walked through a grove of trees and the temperature felt like it dropped 10 degrees. And goosebumps just came up all over me. I felt like somebody was watching me. And as soon as I walked on maybe 100 yards, it went back to normal. Wow. And I never went in that area again. It was just too creepy, because when you're talking about hunting in areas of the Civil War activity, people died there. There were usually, a common misconception is soldiers got left where they were at when they died, and they never got buried. They came back and picked up all the bodies they could, because soldiers in America, at least, do not leave their comrades on the battlefield. They will come back and get them. So it wasn't that there were bodies there, but it was the fact, I think, that just people had died there and something was left in the air. So yeah, that was one of the creepy things I had happen.
Wow.
And another thing was, I was at a hospital site one time.
Mm.
And this is actually more a real thing than just a creepy feeling. But I knew it was a hospital site from my research. It was a field hospital. They were doing amputations, etc.
Mm-hmm.
And down the hill, there was a slope to the hill there where all the medical equipment stuff stopped. There wasn't much down there. And right near a creek, probably 30 yards down the hill, I started finding shot Civil War bullets. There were Confederate bullets, there were Yankee bullets, all mixed in together. It made no sense at all until I stopped to think, okay, when they cut these guys' arms and legs off, they probably threw them down towards the creek. And that was bullets, I think, that came out of the soldiers.
Wow.
Yeah, so that was I've still got all those separately because I think they tell a story.
Wow, crazy.
And
Crazy.
the stuff will tell you its story as long as you listen to it and think about it.
Wow.
Just have to open your ears and mind and listen to it, right? But
and something I was telling on my podcast last night, we had a guest that was actually a psychic, a world renowned psychic, and we were talking about things like that. And I told the tale of the rarest item I ever found, which I mentioned before, which was the Georgia State Seal belt buckle. There were 1,000 of them made, which there's no way to know that I was going to find something like that. But I started looking at a map the day before I found that. And I dreamed about it that night, that I was going to find something incredibly rare. I drove right to the site the next morning that I had been looking at, and 30, 40 feet from the car, 5 or 6 signals later, I had that rare belt buckle in my hand.
wow.
I knew something extremely rare was going to come out of there. And I keep waiting for it to happen again. It's never happened. That was the one time, but I can't explain. When I left out that morning to go metal detecting, I did not have a doubt that I was going to find the find of a lifetime.
Wow. Crazy.
And is that your all-time favorite find?
Yeah, I guess it is, really, because it's so very rare and the condition is immaculate. It's one of the prettiest ones anybody's ever seen. And it's certainly the rarest thing I ever found. So yeah, I would have to say that's my favorite. And I do still have it. I mean, because I'm not going to find another one. And you know, before, I'm not ready to yet, but I'm sure that somewhere down the road I'll start, you know, putting this stuff in the hands of people that really will appreciate it. But I still have that belt buckle. I still have almost everything I found.
Buckle Boy Metal Detecting wants to know, did the psychic already know the questions you were going to ask?
Buckle Boy, only you. Hey, speaking of which, Buckle Boy is going to be having a book come out in a year or two, but we won't talk about that right now. But I'm working with him on a great book.
Hey, Buckle Boy, right before it comes out, join us on the show. We'll promote it. You know?
Yeah,
hey,
we will do that. It's still a lot of work to go. That's a good question. Did the psychic know them? Well, you know, that's the thing. If there really are, okay, these psychics, and I know there are a lot of things that I've got a theory that we're born with a lot more abilities than we end up later on in life, because we're told once we get adults that you can't see invisible friends, or you can't know ESP and this, that, and the other. You know, we become too intelligent to have it happen. But I've always wondered if a true psychic, you know, why do you have to give them your credit card number? And wouldn't they just be able to get your credit card number? And wouldn't they just call you when you need them? They know when you need them. Just call them. These are things that keep me up at night. Oh, you can tell I love this hobby, though. I love everything about it.
Well, that's what makes you you, and that's why everybody loves you and wants to meet you, like Hot Mess Fishing said.
They just want to come detect my beat.
I'll have to turn my camera on and zoom. I don't have to show it though, but my friend Brad from Australia, Brad
That's
Welsh,
what it is.
he
There he is.
he found these. Sorry, everybody, I'm showing them just for Brad. He found these in a bottle in a river.
Wow.
Australian large cents from. I like the flash in your pan custom holder he made for him too. 1943-ish. Yeah, 42, 43, 41. Around World War II era. Here's a little older one. 1917. He cleaned them though.
What was the deal with these coins, Ed?
Brad's a metal detectorist and underwater treasure hunter. And he was metal detecting in a body of water, and these were in a bottle or in a jar. And he sent me 6 of them. He wanted me to share those with you, Butch.
That is awesome. And I've got a little story here about Australia that you guys will probably like. And this was something I wasn't aware of until we did an article in the magazine on it. But in the gold camps of California, I guess was that the 49ers or whatever.
Right.
But in the gold camps of California, they find these buckles. They're little sash buckles. Sometimes they'll even have a miner on them, or I've seen them with eagles on them or whatever, but they were specific to the gold mining camps. And nobody really knows why that is, except, you know, it's just what a lot of the miners were wearing. Well, when those same exact buckles are found in Australia, and the theory is that was the same miners. Once the gold played out in California, these guys went down to Australia and started mining it. And they had lost these same buckles and same equipment. So that's kind of a cool thing, I thought.
Sweet.
Right on. Butch, have you ever found a jar full of coins?
No, I have not. I did find I think it was a coin collection one time because it was like different date Indian head cents all within a small area. And they didn't look like they had been in the ground as long as they should have. So I figured it was maybe a coin collection. I don't know, somebody robbed somebody or it got lost in the woods or something.
So you don't think it was an actual coin spill?
Yeah, kind of a collector coin spill. And speaking of collectors, this is kind of a cool thing, and it goes back to Civil War stuff. But I was with a fella in Tennessee one time, and the soldiers, when they would camp for extended periods of time, they would dig holes in the ground and then put up a little structure, and that was their house for the winter, basically. And in one of these huts we found, inside of it, there were several arrowheads, and they were not arrowheads that were native to that area. And our theory is that one of the guys back then was basically an arrowhead collector, and he just had all these arrowheads, and he lost them somehow in his hut site because they weren't native to that particular area. And it's all these cool stories that we can get from the past. You just, when you dig up something, don't just say, hey, that's cool, and put it in your pouch. Stop and think how it might have gotten there.
Yeah. That's what keeps me doing this is the story behind the coin or the relic. Is how did it get here and who dropped it and what were their circumstances?
Exactly. And when you pick that relic up, let's say you dig something that's 100 years old, even 200 years old, chances are when you pick that up, you are the first person to touch that since the person that lost it. And it's almost like meeting that person face to face. It's shaking hands with the past is what it is. You're immediately connected with somebody that's long gone now. And
that's pretty incredible.
Heavy. Yeah. That's my hippie word of the night. It's heavy.
Oh my goodness. Ready to give away something?
Hey, let's do it. Let's do it.
Here, let me share my monitor so they could see it, since it ain't a duck race or nothing.
And what you can do is you get the contact information and send it to me, and we will make sure they get their prize.
Sure will. Are you ready? Races can be a real... If I was ready for it, Gold Hunter, I would have been doing it, but I wasn't really ready for it.
I hope I win. I hope I win.
Now, let me see if there's even Flash in your pan in the chat. It won't let me win on my own live stream, will it, Liz?
No, actually, no. The bot will not allow you to win on your own stream.
Doggone it. Bot.
Yeah.
Bad bot. Bad bot. Could you give me a countdown, please, Butch?
3, 1. We'll use another finger. Okay, go for it.
Our New York friend, Outdoor Wally.
Woo! We have a winner.
Woo!
Good job.
Doggy. Outdoor Wally, I have your mailing information. I'll send it to Butch, and he'll get it taken care of.
Fabulous prize, Outdoor Wally. You're going to love it.
Liz speaks from experience with that. She's one
absolutely. Absolutely. Yes, sir.
Wally also wants me to tell you, Butch, that he found one of those miner's buckles.
Oh, wow. Cool. I would love to know more about those, but they seem to always be connected with gold mining, the ones I've seen. It's really a cool thing.
Now, when you were in Dahlonega, did you go to the museum?
No, I didn't, and I don't know why I didn't, but I didn't.
It's a cool little museum in the courthouse there, and they actually have gold in the bricks of
Oh,
that courthouse
oh my
slash
goodness.
museum. Um,
Well, that's
Delon,
where a lot of good coins were minted too. The Dahlonega
yeah,
gold coin.
it's the Dahlonega Mint from the
Yeah,
first real American gold rush.
yes.
The gold rush in the Southeast was 20 years prior to the California gold rush. Yeah, it's a cool little museum. Next
So,
time you're in Dahlonega, be sure to check it out.
and Dahlonega a neat place anyway. Anybody within driving distance, I recommend they go up there and spend a day. And go to the Chrism mine, like you said. That's a great place to do a little panning.
Yes, if you want to visit a nice mine in Dahlonega, it actually has the it's the only mine with a still operating stamp mill in Georgia. Tammy and Tony, the owners, are absolutely fabulous people. Um, I, I, I'll get there again. I'll get there again.
Well, you come down to the Chattanooga show, and I'm not sure how far it is from there, but it's not more than an hour or so to Dahlonega, I think, from there.
Well, I wouldn't mind getting to the Chattanooga um, show. I like that area. A lot of good history there, Civil War history. I like the fort on Table Mountain and Rock City and the
You were talking
Incline
about,
Railroad. And,
yeah, we give away door prizes to people that paid entries that come into the shows. And one of the prizes at Chattanooga that we usually have donated to us is actually a free pass to Rock City.
oh,
And that is
cool.
a cool place, really cool place. And the Incline Railroad is cool too.
I enjoyed Rock City a lot.
Yeah.
Good night, Jeremy. Thanks for joining us, buddy. Yeah, Rock City's a real fun place to visit. And congratulations, Outdoor Wally. He's quite adventurous gentleman, Butch from New York.
You're going to love the magazine. I guarantee it.
Without a doubt. Without a doubt, Wally. Without a doubt. I'm trying to read people's conversations. If anyone has any more questions for our guests, please don't hesitate to.
Why the tide hasn't gone out here? I'm waiting for the tide.
It's one of those freaky moons.
It is, man. It's one of those moon things. Oh.
I'm waiting for somebody to walk by you in the back. That's what I'm waiting for.
Metal detector.
I'll talk to him, Bill.
Get off my beach, you kids. Get off my beach. Have we had fun tonight, folks?
Bill, you can't leave yet, Ohio Relic Hunter.
Ohio Relic Hunter, I know him.
Yeah, Bill Marsh. Great guy. Great guy. Been part of my community here at Flash in Your Pan for many years. You can't leave yet, Bill, or I'll call you Ohio River history. I know. Bad, Ed. Oh, wow. Alice Wonderland? Oh, yeah, super chat.
That's a rabbit hole.
Thanks for the super chat, Alice. I greatly appreciate it.
Right on.
Well, it's getting close. Now, I'm gonna promote my show a little for next week, if I hope you don't mind. Next week I have one of the characters from Bering Sea Gold coming to join us. Steve Rydell of Bering Sea Gold is going to be here at Tuesday Night Hangout Live next weekend with my guest co-host, YouTuber friend, another celebrity on Bering Sea Gold, Brian Wilder of American Gold Prospectors will be my co-host next week with our guest, Steve Rydell. I guarantee you it's going to be a great show. Maybe not as good as this show right now, but it is going to be a great show.
Oh, I need a tissue.
I have to use the little boys' room really bad because I drink a tremendous amount of coffee. So
that's why I'm by the ocean.
Maybe that's why I have to go. I keep hearing it. But Butch, thank you very much for joining us tonight.
Thank you, and it was great seeing everybody again. And all I can say is, check out American Digger Magazine. We're all over Facebook. We go to our website, AmericanDigger.com. Imagine that, good old-fashioned website. And if you want to see what the magazine looks like without subscribing, you can either order individual copies or you can just get in touch with us and we will send you free a sample copy so you can see what it's all about. I think you're going to like it.
Nice. Be sure to check out his website, his podcasts also. Everything's at the website. Check it out. Also, I want to thank my friend Liz, the Digging Connect treasure.
Absolute pleasure. Absolute pleasure.
Wonderful.
Also, please, Liz, plug your newest shows, because I know you don't have coffee with Liz anymore, but you do have a weekly show now.
I have a live stream on Thursday evenings at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. You can send in pictures of your finds or whatever kind of pictures you want to send. We hang out, we chat. Sometimes we have guests. It's always good. We give stuff away. Join me one day.
And believe me, everybody, if you haven't been to one of Liz's shows, she's a wonderful hostess and puts on a very great live stream. And all of you, without you, we wouldn't be here now. The lurkers out there, we love you. I will also gonna take this time to thank the listeners of the replays over at Spotify, iHeartRadio, Amazon Podcast, whatever it is over there, and several other podcast sites. All of you, until next week, may you always have a flash in your pan, and you know what I like to say. Maybe one day too, all will meet you at a dig, in a field, in the woods, on the river. But for now, I gotta pee really bad, and we're out of here.
Just jump in the water, man. It's right behind. Just won't move.
Oh my goodness.
Good night, everybody. Good night, Butch. Good night, Ed. Good night,
Thank you, everybody. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Happy Thanksgiving, everybody. Almost forgot. Butch reminded me.
Hey, that's my job.
I think my eyes are turning yellow, too.